大家好，最近看到希腊前财长瓦鲁法基斯关于美国为何发动对中国的新冷战的谈话，感到很有意思，觉得他的见解挺好的，今天翻译出来与各位分享。他认为是因为中国金融科技的发展威胁到了美国美元的霸主地位，中国的支付系统数字人民币将对世界货币美元直接形成威胁，所以美国必须在中国的这个支付体系成长之前把它扼杀在摇篮中，这才是特朗普对中国发起以及拜登加码新冷战的原因。这里说点题外话，这位希腊前财长被禁止进入德国，以及禁止在挺巴勒斯坦国际会议上发言。德国官方认为他是在做反犹宣传。瓦鲁法基斯是一位睿智的左派，但他不是德国那种已经完全疯狂的左派。好，我们来看看他的谈话。
Meet Yanis Varoufakis, Greece's former finance minister. In this eye-opening talk, he dives into what he sees as the real reason behind America's new Cold War with China. Let's dive into Varoufakis' take on what's really going on.
If you want to look at the concentration of economic, financial, technological, and military power, you have to focus on the United States and on China. The European Union is the stupid continent. It is. I was talking to the president of Mexico. Then I were visiting him some months ago in Mexico City, and he's a comrade, he's a friend, and he's the president of Mexico, right? So he was telling me with pain in his heart that he's very pro-European. He's culturally very close to Europe. He's under the belly of the beast, the United States, and he trades with China. And he says he was asking me for some sources of hope that Europe will stop being irrelevant. And I couldn't provide him with any, because we are deindustrializing. We've missed the next industrial revolution. So green tech and big tech, gone. We have nothing by which to compete with either the United States or China. And increasingly, we are stagnating and proving and reconfirming my allegation that it is a stupid and irrelevant continent. China? Significant. Russia? More significant than the Telegraph, the Times, and the Guardian would like to present it as, because there is this tendency to say that the Russian economy is only the size of Spain. Well, that's true if you measure it in terms of dollars. But the people in Russia don't use dollars, they use rubles. And so it's not a question of how many dollars do they have by which to buy bullets. The question is how many rubles they have with which to buy Russian bullets. And they have quite a few of those. But there is no dynamism. It is shrinking demographically. There is emigration from Russia, not just now because of this, ever since the Soviet Union collapsed. The main concern is the new Cold War that Donald Trump started against China. And we had this discussion back in when was it, in October, because it's part of the chapter 6 of my book. I was puzzled by why would Trump start a Cold War against China. You remember, it started when he banned a telecommunications company, Chinese one, Huawei, from functioning in the United States. And then he banned another one, ZTE. And then another one, and then he introduced serious tariffs on aluminium exports and so on. And of course, one could say, that's Trump, what do you expect? He's a madman. But then Joe Biden gets elected. And instead of reversing this Cold War against China, he turbocharged it. He went, as the Australians say, apeshit. Full on. He introduced a bill by which he banned all sales of advanced microchips to China. This is like saying to Beijing, we will do whatever we can to prevent you from becoming an technologically advanced country. That's an economic war. a declaration of economic war. So I was puzzled by that, and I was asking myself, why would they do that? If you ask American diplomats, politicians, media people, they say, oh, Taiwan. Come on, pull another one. Why is Taiwan significant? Oh, because they want to invade it. Yes, they wanted to invade it in 1950, in 1960, in 1970, when Bill Clinton was doing his utmost to induct China into the World Trade Organization, and all the iPhones were being produced in Shenzhen, and Shanghai and so on. They wanted to invade Taiwan back then. They claimed it to be their own. So that can't be the reason. That didn't change. And then when they tell me but they are spying on us. What? The Americans are complaining that somebody's spying on them? The NSA is spying on all of us. Every single one of us, including Sunak. They know what he says better than he does because he forgets very easily. Right? So it can't be that. So, and you know what my explanation is. I told you last time, but these people were not there. China is the only country that has developed this new form of capital, which I call cloud capital, which is the part of capital which, when it accumulates, bestows upon its owner the most power. It's the capital that lives inside your phone, the algorithmic AI-driven capital, which is not new. It's been happening now for 10, 15 years. If you think about it, there is no British or European competitor to Google, to Facebook, to Amazon.com, to Uber, to Airbnb, to any of these platforms. None. No British, no German, no French, no Indian competitor to them. China has a bigger and better version of each one of them in China. And not only that, but there is an application called WeChat that belongs to Tencent, which, imagine an application, we don't have it here in Europe, or in Britain if you don't want to be considered European. I don't know why you wouldn't, but maybe you don't. You don't have an app that allows you to watch movies like Netflix, to call a cab like Uber, to send tweets, to do that, and on top of that, to send money, to pay, to make payments for free to anyone in the world. For free, no fee, no banking fee attached. That app doesn't exist in the West. The Chinese have it. So, to the extent that the United States remains hegemonic because they have the monopoly of all payment systems. When you pay anybody, even within Britain, that payment finds its way through to the other person, to the person to whom you are making the payment, through a system totally controlled by the United States. If I were in the Pentagon, I would not be worried about the developments on the military terrain. What I would be worried about are the developments on the fintech, the financial technology terrain, because the Chinese, with WeChat, and in particular, something I haven't mentioned yet, the digital currency of the Central Bank of China, they are creating circumstances that can easily undermine the monopoly that the dollar has on international transactions. Because all the power of the Americans, of the United States, this whole panoply of force is based on the US dollar. The American economy is becoming a smaller and smaller percentage of the world economy. The American economy is highly in the red. They have a huge trade huge trade deficit since 1968. They have a huge budget deficit, 6.5% every year budget deficit. So they need other people's money. They are the only empire in the history of humanity who are growing stronger the more they are in the red. What allows them to do that is that they print the world's currency, the dollar. So if you are a capitalist, a German capitalist, a Chinese capitalist to this day, right? You need to sell to the Americans in order to make your own profits. So You sell to the Americans buy in dollars, they have a deficit, and you get dollars. So you're a Chinese capitalist in Shanghai or in Frankfurt, and you have all these dollars. And what do you do with these dollars? You cannot spend them in Germany or in China, so you take them to Wall Street, and you invest them in real estate, in shares, primarily in American debt. So you're financing the American government to build the armies and to have the aircraft carriers in the East. So that is the nexus around which American power revolves, the dollar. The Chinese threaten that because now, if you are a capitalist, if you are a moneybags, if you are Saudi Arabian with lots and lots of billions, somebody from Abu Dhabi, an Indonesian magnate, a Malaysian magnate, you are really thinking twice about putting all your eggs in the dollar basket. Why? Because you've seen that the Americans just confiscated $400 billion of dollars of Russian money. I'm not going to pass judgment on that. This is not a discussion of whether they should have done it or not. It's a fact, they did it. So if you are a sheikh from Dubai, or a stinking rich, usually bastard, from Indonesia, right? Because to be stinking rich in Indonesia, you can't be a good person, right? Or in Greece, for that matter. And you have all these billions. You think, well, they got pissed off with Putin's men and they took their money. What about me? I'm not the best guy in the world. Maybe they will get pissed off with me tomorrow. So you're not going to put all your money in the Chinese digital currency, but you will put some of it in there, just to to plan B, in case the Americans come. And that is a clear and present danger for American hegemony. That is why, and here is my explanation, you have a new Cold War. The Americans are attacking the technological evolution of Chinese Fintech, the combination of big tech and the financial sector, because they want to kill this payment system from, before it grows up and challenges the American dollar digital system.
接下来我们看看几条全球网友们的评论。在这里我想说一下，上次我翻译了一个德语视频以及评论，有位网友说，现在有自动翻译功能，需要你在这里浪费大家的时间吗？我想说的是，是的，网上很多东西都可以自动翻译，但是我是在寻找以及发现一些有意义的话题，然后翻译出来与各位分享。如果有的人觉得没必要，大可以离开咱们频道，因为没人强迫这样的人在这里受罪。你们说是不是？好，我们看第一条评论。这从来都不是美国国家安全的问题，而是美国国家不安全的问题。下一条评论，他是欧洲最睿智、最诚实的人。我们继续往下。你知道吗？亚尼斯这家伙说的太对了，我完全同意他的话。我们再往下。希腊的瓦鲁法基斯先生的论述太精彩了。下一条评论，类似于美国在二战前对日本的所作所为，以及在上世纪90年代强迫日本签署单方面协议的做法。我们继续往下。聆听亚尼斯的讲话总是令人愉快。我们再往下。感谢瓦鲁法基斯教授对我的教育，这对我来说是多么大的范式转变呀！哇！我们再往下。经济危机和经济衰退是2008年市场崩溃 2.0 的所有迹象，所以我的问题是，我是否仍要用美元储蓄，还是可以将所有应急资金和储蓄转移到贵金属上？下一条评论，在12分钟内，他解释了世界上大多数冲突的原因。这不是为了窃取资源，而是为了确保每个人都用美元进行资源交易。继续往下。我关注亚尼斯多年，他说的都是真话。我们继续往下。这可能是我很久以来得到的最好的解释了。下条评论。亚尼斯，你正成为一个偶像， 我喜欢你为工人阶级打拼，谢谢。继续往下。从有到敌，历时40年。当中国还是一个贫穷落后的国家时，美国把它视为朋友，原因很简单，因为它是世界工厂。那时美国人的美好生活得益于来自中国的物美价廉的消费品。与今天不同的是，当时没有人听说过镇压、种族灭绝、极权主义和其他类似的词汇来谴责中国。当中国的进步超出预期，挑战美国作为科技和经济强国的地位时，一切都变了。这就是所谓地缘政治游戏和抹黑中国的宣传背后的真正原因。我们再往下。这哥们啊，很懂行，同时也很聪明。下条评论。过去，当美国被视为负责任的世界经济领导者时，许多国家对美国控制全球货币体系并不那么担心。然而，随着美国领导人的行动越来越难以预测，这种现状正在发生改变。现在，世界上越来越多的国家开始认为，他们与其他国家除美国外的贸易及其经济增长没有理由受到以美元为武器的美国单边政策的威胁。在这方面，美国也可能通过将美元武器化来埋葬自身的长期利益。我们再往下。全世界都受够了美国这种霸道。下一条评论。自从亚里斯·瓦鲁法基斯在2011年危机中为拯救希腊经济而战以来，我一直对他钦佩有加。他是一个正直杰出的人。下一条评论。为什么当另一个国家发展良好、经济增长时，美国会感到威胁？我们需要一个多极世界。我们继续往下。欧洲的成功基于对非洲的掠夺，中国在非洲的成功基于贸易和基础设施建设。如果你是非洲人，你会选择哪个合作伙伴？我们再往下。西方500年主导世界即将结束，这是俄罗斯外长谢尔盖·拉夫罗夫的话。下一条评论。当今世界诚实的人并不多，我非常钦佩这位希腊人。美国人不会因为他的诚实而喜欢他。好，朋友们，从上到下可以说几乎都是赞赏这位希腊前财长的，我没有看到负面评论，都是欣赏他、赞赏他的。我们继续往下。我喜欢这个人，我听过他很多次演讲，他应该成为欧盟的领导人，希腊人一定以他为荣。来自土耳其的问候。下一条评论。威胁美国，我们只是要求公平竞争，为什么世界其他国家必须为美国的通货膨胀买单？请美国人自己买单吧。继续往下。2分45秒处说的完全正确，中国经济的95%都是依靠本币和生产运行的。我认为中国已经是迄今为止世界最大的经济体，如果将所有本地生产力和消费都考虑在内，中国的经济规模可能是美国的3倍。我们再往下。作为在英国的欧洲人，我的问题是，欧洲能为自己被抛在后面的问题做些什么？我们再往下看啊。很高兴听到这位先生无条件的不屈服于西方民主国家的非民主文化和做法，如实讲述自己的观点。下条评论。非常钦佩一个敢于说出真相的人，德国人试图逮捕他，因为他揭穿了德国人的鬼话。我们看最后一条评论。亚尼斯教授，你回答了我一个非常重要的问题，这个问题多年来一直萦绕在我的脑海中，为什么美国股市一直在上涨，而中国股市却在下跌？好，朋友们，本期节目就到这里了，非常感谢大家，我们下期见。